Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 14 of our slow and immersive playthrough of Victoria 3 as Cuba. And we made it to 1903, still another 33 years of the game, about a third. And we have finally, having won our independence from Spain in about... what's going on here? Portuguese aristocratic royalty. We have won our independence from Spain, in about 1860, I believe, so about 40 years ago. We have developed, we have gone back to be a part of the Spanish market, nevertheless. But otherwise, we have grown our population through immigration and natural growth. But more recently, we've liberalized and socialized as much as we could without actually being a council republic. But we have, to recap, we have gone down slaves. So we banned slavery, we got public health insurance, we have public schools, we have commercialized agriculture, per capita taxation. We are passing cultural exclusion right now. We have also passed a total separation of church and state so that no religion is discriminated against. We did kind of make a little mistake of passing state atheism first. So so we're fixing that at the moment. Getting migration back from Spain because otherwise the Catholics were being discriminated against. But yeah, and at the end of the previous episode we finally had trade unions become relevant, or influential, as the game calls it. Catholic Church, meanwhile, over the past 20 years has gone from being the most powerful group to being marginalized. Rural folk are still marginalized. But activating trade unions last episode was huge because they are very much in approval of what we have done, right? Because they endorse law changes that we've recently done, compulsory primary school we've done. They are loving the... What is it? Yeah, I think they're loving the cultural exclusion, I guess, right? No, actually, it's not cultural exclusion. I think they might be like the public health. Well, I don't know. They love us. That is what's important. So they're giving us industrial organizers, giving us +10% manufacturing industries throughput, and most importantly, solidarity, giving us 5% workforce ratio. That is huge. So that is now 5% on top of 30%, on top of 25%. So a 20% increase in labor force. Because if we go to detailed list, like laborers, right, we're now gonna come here and you see this pop, 31% of this pop somehow is in the workforce while the rest are dependents. Over time, this ratio will approach 30% due to base value is 25 for laborers and trade unions giving us 55. So we currently have a huge number of workers coming into our economy, and that's good because we've been struggling to hire, I think, but we've done okay, but we're pretty much at max employment, so this is very welcome indeed. Let's go ahead and unpause at speed 2. And just see if we can get, our next aim is to get trade unions as powerful as possible. Let's try to get them, first of all, powerful. So 20% clout. For that, we are trying to increase literacy and actually make our pops make our laborers, in particular, politically active. As, to be fair, they're currently not really all that active. Right? If we say political strength, so if you have 60% of them will support trade unions, but many of them, unfortunately, political movements enact protected speech. Okay, political strength. There we go. Okay, so these are Afro-Caribbean guys, and hopefully they will stop being discriminated against, and that will help us, gain even more adherence to trade unions. There you go. Trade unions is surging. Look at this, surging. Absolutely surging. Excellent. Are we hopefully bolstering it? Yes, we are bolstering it. It is increasing. It's already a huge number of people supporting them. What's not great is that the average wealth, I guess, of the people supporting them isn't really all that big. Trade unions are also increasingly radicalized, unfortunately. Why is this? Decreases in standard of living. Ooh, 150k from events and other reasons. I think this could be from compulsory. Yeah, this must be from compulsory primary school, and that is that has removed a lot of the income from dependents. So it was plus 30% bonus from kids being at work. But that's gone now. But that did let us unlock 2 more levels of public education, and we are currently just establishing level 5, not 12 more weeks. We are going to need a little bit more bureaucracy. We're a very healthy budget. Very healthy budget while we have just high taxes and yeah, I guess some reasonable amount of consumption taxes. And we're slowly losing authority as we liberalize. We're going to have to drop some of these. Revolution in Arabia, French Constitution of Niger completed. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, we are still attracting huge number of pops. Just huge. 100,000 a year still. Excellent. We're at 5.57 million population. That is huge, guys. Huge. Yeah, there we are. We're constantly gaining unemployed as well. Okay, electricity is cheap. Services are cheap. Transportation is reasonable. And we are relying fully on our construction sector to actually build things right now. We are trying to invent the telephone, which is an alternative to transportation. We will need rubber for it. We already have electricity, low and advanced. Sorry, I was actually going to look. Yeah, electric railways is after that. Okay, well, let's try to get to telephone. Yep, and then we'll try to do central planning, get more taxation capacity and bureaucracy in general, actually have a use for the telephones, although telephones are actually used, they're used in government administration as the last production method, but they're also a very popular consumer good because it's an alternative to transport. And it's, I guess, cheaper, you can buy more of it. And then we'll try to do ironclads and gantry cranes to actually translate our merchant navy to steamships and away from clippers. So that is the plan. Low organization of First Cuban Army. Well, let's give them a general. Who should we give them? Defensive pious. Do we want to give industrialists? Or do we want to give... Let's give this guy to intelligentsia. Command to intelligentsia just to try to bolster them. Not that they actually need all that much bolstering. Well, let's see. I mean, we are sort of a good society. To be really honest, the lowest strata is still at 10. That's a little sad because we need 15 for them to participate in the voting system. So aside from making them literate, we need to get them richer, you know, pronto. Because right now, yeah, their minimum expected is 9.7. They're going to start getting radicalized very, very soon. They also can't establish a party, I think mostly because, I would think, mostly because they know they're not going to get any votes in this system. Who actually does support them right now? Machinists, 14. Yeah, you see. Okay, some academics support trade unions. Bureaucrats. Yeah, so there is some shopkeepers even. Oh, wow. Servicemen. Yeah, we need to raise the average result to be their rival. Okay. We need to raise average standard of living for the lowest strata. Because I'm not sure how to do that, if I'm honest, because our standard of living is already 10, and frankly, 2 plus 2 levels of that is given by public healthcare. Just the great molasses flood. A storage tank full to the brim with molasses intended for rum distillation has burst, flooding the streets of Havana's commercial center, killing dozens and injuring hundreds of bystanders. Close the distilleries while the wreckage gets cleared. 5 years of minus 50% food industries. One tragedy must not stop progress. 5% become more radical, yeah. I'd say we take the radicals, maybe that might even help us. I mean, we're doing pretty good on approval among all groups. There we go. So I think we can afford some radicals. I'm doing okay on radicals here, not great to be honest. Rousing speech captivates the public. This afternoon, Gerardo Mella, leader of the intelligentsia, delivered a fiery speech advocating for an act of cultural exclusion. This should ease the path to reform greatly. Let's go ahead and get that out there. 78%. Okay, that should happen now. Trade route exporting fabric to the Dutch market is inactive. Okay, let's have a look. What else needs to be rethought here? is declining. This is just outright not profitable. We don't really have that much bureaucracy, so we could just drop these maybe. Let's drop these. Denmark is improving relations with us. Excellent. Excellent. Our construction, private sector. Yeah, the private sector's got plenty of construction. That is what's to be honest, that is what's saving our tax situation. We could go to lower taxes to stop the radicals as well, and just we're gonna save less, that's true, but we don't need the money right now, so let's go ahead and drop taxes to normal, I think. Just, you know, throw a bone to the lowest strata especially. Let's look at our population. If we look at our population, so 6.4 average income, yeah, we're gonna try to redistribute this to the lower strata, but they still pay 25% in taxes. Yeah, because the reality is our lower strata is actually very poor. We need more clothes and more furniture. They're very poor. You know, their standard of living is only 10. Right? It's only 10. 1.30% are having standard of living below minimum expected because of a high literacy. The reason it's 10 is because we have two... I just feel like the music is way too loud. Yeah, the reason that they have the 10 is really because we have public health, and that's giving us +2 standard of living. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's try and... Well, guys, you need to then organize yourselves and vote, right? That's what we need you to do. We need to organize ourselves and... Protected speech. So what does that give us? Protected speech. That's really home affairs, right? No, sorry, that is not. That's actually a free speech. Protected speech. Gantry cranes unlocked. Ooh, through spread. Excellent. Useful in construction and transportation. Gantry cranes are large enough to straddle the width of a ship. This gives them a sturdiness that means they can lift the heaviest loads a ship can possibly carry. Yeah. Okay, we will need more ports eventually, so that's a good one for us. Not priority, but a good one. Could get, yeah, protected speech. 25% technology spread. Okay. Unlocks guaranteed liberties and internal security. Okay, again, will please both of these groups. Now, we have kind of stalled at 6% cloud, unfortunately. Come on. His average wealth is only 9.6. We need to get the lower strata wealth there. How do we do that? Well, the way we do that really do that is by building up industry and increasing wages, right? Because let's kind of think this through, right? So we click on these, let's say Caribeno, so not let's say Afro-Caribeno, but they're still... Well, sorry, we haven't enacted cultural exclusion yet, so they are obviously still discriminated against. But if we look at our Caribbean Catholic laborers, right, your staple socialist, day laborers, farmhands, and others with little to no employment security, performing whatever work is available throughout society. They are usually not engaged in politics, but may get involved through trade unions. 60, 20, 10. So they are, yeah, let's have a look. This is their income, right? The reason, right, they're impoverished. Yeah, see, 10 due to wealth of 9, right? 50 from per level from 4, minus 16 pollution impact. They pay an average of 25% income in taxes. They pay an average 22 for the basics, furniture, grain, fish. That is interesting. Furniture, grain, fish. So we can reduce the price of those inputs, of those consumer goods. But we also need to raise wages, because that is popularly weak income, 559, and 430 of that is wages. Right? 430 is wages. But we now have cultural exclusion. Foreigner cultures with nothing in common with your primary cultures are discriminated against. So if we share cultural trait with any primary cultures in their country, share primary trait. Yep, there we are. Now everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone should be accepted. Caribeno, Spanish, yeah. Well, it was only Afro-Caribeno that were discriminated against, although we now actually do have... Are we still discriminating? Yeah, probably are, aren't we? Central African, Bantu, and African heritage. They probably are discriminating against these guys. Turmoil. Global is 30% in Cuba. Okay, well, in any case, there aren't many of them. The important thing is that the Spanish, Afro-Caribbean, and Carabenos are not discriminated against. So that's good. Okay, we're missing authority. Can we cancel greener grass? No way. I'm not giving up greener grass. We could potentially give up one of the consumption taxes, such as wine. What does this really give us? Opposition. Ooh, okay, let's remove wine. Although I don't like it because that is a progressive tax. It taxes upper strata rather than lower strata, so that's not great. Okay, trade unions are still gaining. What's this? We have short, expensive military goods. Engines on the Spanish market are expensive. Hang on. What happened to our engines? Explosives on the Spanish market are expensive. Ammunition, man of wars. New Granada has failed to seize Accra from its owner, Peru, Bolivia. Is Spain at war? Ooh, wow. Hang on a second. I don't know. That's just diplomatic play in South India. Wars. Netherlands versus Bali. Balinese allies Spain. I thought Spain was actually an ally to the Netherlands, no? For a long time. Interesting. Okay. Netherlands and Spain, Netherlands and Spain. Okay. We seem to have lost... hang on. Something is certainly happening. Expensive government goods, explosives, glass, tools. Why is all of this... Explosives factory. We lost access to sulfur. It's not good. Okay. Now can we actually find access to sulfur? Hang on. Production. Who produces sulfur? Canada. The United Kingdom. Australia. Canada. Australia. I'm sure we're already trading with the United Kingdom. Okay. This is bad. Paper. We need a lot of paper. We need to find sulfur. Urgently, by the way. Wow, I have 41,000 peasants. Christ. We need to build textile mills still at these levels, still petite bourgeoisie. Now how do we, if we gain, I'm still thinking, yeah, we're still, my theory of full employment, I think so. If we change this to a product, I mean, we could simply go to, yeah, sewing machines, right? In theory, that is possible. Oh god, okay, average standard of living is actually going up, but it is possible, but that will just create more capitalists. Right, and if we take capitalists, right, they are mostly supported by capitalists and shopkeepers, right? But capitalists in general, I mean 90% of them, 90% of capitalists support industrialists. Whereas if we look at shopkeepers, petite bourgeoisie 55%, industrialist 30%. And some, what is this? Okay. Oh god, Russia, French, Oceania interests. Okay, can we find sulfur in any of these markets? Let's do protected speech, even if it is just to... Ooh, okay, this has declined. That's good. Let's do protected speech. Who doesn't like this? Ooh, quite a few people. They're still okay. I mean, this is the time. If we are going to do it, this is the time. Go ahead and do it. I mean, we will annoy some people, but if we're going to lose it, we're going to lose the investment pool. We got to be careful about our investment pool. We used to be 10 million. We're now down to, what, 6 almost. And we are declining. So we are, you know, eating that up. Okay, we're now negative completely. Oh, this is not good. Not good. 12 million GDP. Okay, this doesn't matter. We're not borrowing anyway. Approval of angry. Oh, okay. We used to have this 10% tax income, but that's not happening anymore. Rub has been successfully grown in Cuba. The fragile nature of these trees and their difficult to meet conditions make this achievement exceptionally important. This place seems to be the most effective. Wow. 25% of migration attraction. Isolated state region. Ooh. Hang on, this is what's happening. Hang on a second. Why are we? We're not connected. True, we're not connected. We have a navy. Hang on. I'm actually not 100% sure as to what's going on. We are part of the Spanish market, are we not? Yes, we are. The Dutch needs to... Let's first of all have a look at the Netherlands. They have 80 ships for a power production of 2,251. Mostly in the Koninklijke Marine. 50 light ships, which are all monitors and torpedo boats and man o' wars. Okay, we can still compete since we're very interesting. 1904, we're still on man o' wars. So we could compete, right? And it is in our interest to do so. Let's just deploy to C node and kind of force. Hang on a second, but right. Spain. Where are the battles here? Battle between Brazil and Spain. Brazil, Dutch East Indies, and Dutch Niger are against us. We are here. This is Brazil in the Russian market. Okay, they have a huge navy. Light ships, capital ships. How do we re-establish this contact? Is unable to buy and sell goods from the larger market. Pops will have to source their needs to supply the local supply from the state. This may have significant effect on Pop's standard of living due to the resulting price changes. You connect Cuba to the Spanish market by increasing infrastructure, which can be done by building buildings of the right infrastructure like ports or railroads, or by using road maintenance. So we do have, excuse me, we do have enough infrastructure for sure. Infrastructure cannot be the problem here. We need, I don't know, let's get at least our navy kind of out here, I think, no? Or do we need to maybe escort convoys? Not sure what is actually happening. We are in the customs union. Yeah, they're obviously in a war, so it must be the war. Political movement to preserve censorship has formed. Okay. Spanish attitude towards Cuba, protective. Sure. And Spain are fighting each other. Well, progress to the study. Oh, hang on. This is bad. This is bad, but what? Independence Fleet. What can we do? There's not much, is the answer. Have a look. Now, are they like embargoed? Or what is allied damage relations? Defensive embargo. Spain is embargoing Kingdom of France. That's one thing. Trade agreement with North German Federation, I think. We need to wait for this war to finish. Owes obligations from Dynam and from Colombia in a personal union with Luxembourg. Okay, Philippines, Sambas, and Surakarta as their puppets. Cuba, actually, Colombia is in our market. Bali, Tunis, Dynam, Siak. Okay. Spain and Mexico have a defensive pact. Colombia and Spain have a defensive pact. Yeah, okay. Alliance with Bali. Balinese side 0. Okay, let's... What is the war about then? Okay, Netherlands wants to conquer Bali. Bali just says pay... Yeah, so I guess it's a matter of... As long as they can't conquer it, it can't fall below 0. So it's sort of like a war of independence almost. Brazil sides with the Netherlands against Nigerian capitalist revolt. Okay. Peace acceptance plus 36. Would accept the current peace deal. We're eating through our gold reserves, which I don't like. Armed forces deactivated. Oh, we lost some more authority. Deary me. Well. It's unfortunate. Let's go ahead and speed up. I'm not really sure there is much we can do. Free speech pamphlets. An advanced event. A pamphlet in favor of protected speech has been circulated illegally across most of our major cities. This will help our cause. We could use to put this for a stronger message. That's fine. Let's just go to 70%. That's more than enough. The thing is, we're kind of losing time here. Hopefully this war will not last too long. Cuba is isolated. I mean, how's it isolated? They have access. I'm not sure, actually, guys, to be honest. I'm not really sure. Yeah, okay, I understand somehow we cannot access the market. Why is that? I am not sure. Why is the effective embargo? We are embargoing France, but that's one thing. No one else is embargoing us. I don't see any navies. Is there? Let's click on this. Is there military? Number 2 exiled. Okay, rural folk has been activated. Okay, 10% infrastructure, agriculture, ranches, plantations, throughput. Okay, low progress to voting. Excellent. Let's keep playing on speed 4. There we go. Okay. I would really welcome if we were told when, I guess, this war is over, right? Yeah, this war is over, and like, why is it over and what happened? Like, it didn't really tell us. That is rather frustrating. We lost 2 million of GDP. I'm hoping that will recover. Okay, but we're no longer isolated. Okay. Yeah, it was hard to affect that, really. Sulfur. Yeah, we need sulfur. There's... Well, at least the good thing is that that kind of exposed the weaknesses, I guess, in our economy. Yeah, we kind of do need a government administration, but at the same time... 6 years until central planning. It's okay, we're gonna have to build one. We're gonna have to build one more. Frankly, even a couple probably. Okay, that is not gonna do wonders for our gold reserves. Oh, I would hate to go back in taxes. Back up. I hope we won't have to. We might though. 73 authority. Yeah, greener grass campaign is really the only thing we can enact. There we go. We now have protected speech. 25% technology spread. Okay. So 1905. Guarantee political liberties, political movement. Who is this? This is, yeah. Oh, okay, we've reduced number of radicals. That's kind of a good thing, but the thing is this will continue to grow because many of our, this is average, right? But, and we are improving lower strata. We need to get them to 15. Once they're at 15, we'll be socialist. But frankly, all we need is people to get employed. We have 95,000 peasants now, right? All across our arable land. I'm hoping we're about to get a surge in this whole thing. Right, our private sector. Yes, I'm still hesitant to change production methods. Although these production methods should increase. There was a comment in the comment section, which I now think back to. But let's just have a read in this. With the socialist ideas sweeping across Cuba, the Mela government has determined that the drastic concessions to arrest this progress must be considered. There is sufficient momentum for a rapid policy change. Offer greater wages for their labor. Cuba enables low wage subsidies and welfare. Trade unions will always select vanguards, communist, or anarchist leaders. Other interest groups are much more likely to select. Yes, that's what we need. Guarantee better conditions. Enables regulatory bodies. Yeah, that's what we want. Hold on. We want regulatory bodies. Trade unions will always select. Other interest groups are much more likely. These are also much more likely. We will not capitulate. 5% of upper strata become our lowest. Trade unions will always select. No, let's do guarantee better working conditions. Yeah. We now have regulatory bodies. Government institutions have been created to regulate the excesses of employers. Exactly what we want. Now, what does that actually give us, though? That only gives us 20% dangerous working conditions. Now, we do want to get that to level 5. How do we do that? Okay, boom, it's just switched to regulatory bodies straight away. Yeah, excellent. So, where's our man? No, wait, where's our man here? He's a jingoist. No, we don't need a jingoist. We're at 10%. Excellent. Okay, so everything's going well. If you guys know how to explain that, that loss of access to market, please let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, what someone actually else said in the comments is that we need to increase production methods because that will make them wealthier. That is true. That is what we need. We need to make our lower strata wealthier. And they are. They're actually becoming much wealthier, you see. So average standard of living is now 12.9. Right? So that's good. I'd say let's stick to the old production methods. I'm trying to make these guys wealthier now. Steel mills, for example, they are how does their wage calculate? Sorry, let's start with this. Lower strata's wealth mostly depends on their wage. What does wage depend on? Well, wage, like this, total weekly wage is such and such, right? Laborers get 308. Why is it 308? They got annual wage of 534 times 600. I guess that's how many of them. So annual wage for laborers, Catholic is 534 due to base wage in steel mills 534. Right, base wage is 534 due to average needed wage to sustain wealth in Cuba 534. Okay, so wages should rise slowly, but the thing is we have so much labor now that it's kind of scary. Like, are they gonna rise? I'd actually even say I'm not 100% on like how late. I know that there is a certain wage. It's like a normal wage across the economy, and then I know that different professions get a different multiplier. So that obviously engineers, even machinists, for example, get something like 1.5 of that normal wage. So there's always like this stratification. Right, and what does the wage go up? The wage goes up because the buildings are more profitable, so I don't know, more productive. Now, even though here steel is actually really cheap, they are productive. But I'm just thinking, what can we switch that we have? Or trade centers as well. That is very profitable. For example, arms industries. Okay, obviously that's very cheap. There's not much we can do here. Military shipyards, though. Boom. Man of wars are very much in demand. Now we could take more things and produce more of these. How about that? Wooden house. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well, Have a look. Does the wage go up? I mean, they have become more profitable because they now produce more man o' wars at a slightly lower price. Will the wages necessarily improve though? Average 12. Let's have a look. Let's just wait for our GDP to at least recover to what it used to be. Now we are borrowing, which I do not like to do. I don't like borrowing. Now, why is our authority so low? Bolstering trade unions, yeah, but to be honest, I think maybe that's kind of the limit of what we can do. Yeah, I think we are. Okay, we're gonna have to stop bolstering them, to be really honest. Our budget right now, oof, it's not good. We are falling though, straight away. Yeah, obviously this isn't artificially increased. So we're gonna have to find natural ways of increasing that. We do now have two more government administrations. We are no longer building, so we're relying on our private sector. How we're doing investment pool, still 5 million. This is all kind of increasing. It's good. Paper is still expensive. Can we go paper bleaching? I mean, we might as well. Right? We might as well go bleaching. This is kind of a question though. Do we want paper bleaching or do we want to build 2 more paper mills so we can employ more of the unemployed and peasants? I would think we want to build, to be honest, more of paper mills. But then each one is less profitable. Maybe that is kind of the trade-off I'm not seeing. But each one is less profitable. And therefore wages are lower. Threshing machines unlocked by removing the physical labor aspect of threshing the grain. Something. Telephone, central planning. Now let's do it. Okay, we are on our way for more bureaucracy. This is good. Yeah, GDP should be increasing. Let's go. They were building bananas. At least something to get the people into jobs. Camera unlocked. Through a complex chemical process, it is possible to capture reality itself in a single moment. An instant painting. 5% prestige. Okay. Go ahead and try. We'll get the telephone. We now have rubber. Have we actually built rubber plantations? Yes, there is one. We'll need that for the telephones. Let's just wait for that to actually be researched though. Industrious engines of progress activated. Okay, everyone's kind of back, I think, back with us. Trade unions at 10% only. Average wealth of people who support them. 12.5. There we go. At least average standard of living is growing. Yeah, well, it's kind of plateaued at 13, but the trend is up, which is encouraging. Which I mean, fixing our revenue, right? So that's all good. 10% bureaucracy. Yeah, everyone's coming back after the shocking passage of protected speech, right? It was protected speech. Oh, our government though is now contested. Okay, we are getting more loyalists and radicals, so these have come down dramatically. That's good. Telephone unlocked. Telephones make long-distance communication viable, allowing much faster spread of information across the globe. Okay. Now let's have a look. Construction, private. Okay, let's see. Probably be a little bit of time before they queue them up, but they will, I'm sure. Sure they will, right? Yeah, this will be hugely profitable. So we have rubber now as well. Buildings, tobacco plantations. Come on, guys, let's get the electronics industries going. Or should we just build one ourselves? 800 construction. Fine, let's do it. I mean, we are going to slow down construction, and 30 weeks it's going to cost us, but I want to just get that industry going. Brazilian, British rival to Great Britain begin embargoing Spain. Oh, come on. Yep, I guess, but that demonstrates the kind of the downside of being in the Spanish market now. To be honest, I mean, we are getting the population, right? We are still getting the population, but now we are constantly exposed to the power plays of great empires, right? And things like this can happen. Embargoing on an ongoing diplomatic action established by one country targeting another, which completely blocks the target country from importing. Sorry. Newly formed parties. The Communist Party. Yes, guys. Hang on. October 1906. Oh, sorry, okay. Jeune École unlocked. By having many smaller ships rather than a few big ones, it is possible to keep a certain level of maneuverability that would otherwise be impossible. 10 naval base max level is Jeune École for naval base, so we can train our navy faster. Right, so more officers. To be honest, I'd rather keep more servicemen for now, because they support trade unions when we're not particularly training anything. Actually, having said that, I would also like our fleet to just get back on station now. Election. Communist Party, 5% of votes. Oh, come on. How do we... politics. Wait, hang on a second. Armed forces from the Communist Party. Really? Oh, come on. Trade unions. Jingoist. Communist, yes. No, that's because they had a change in leadership. Can we? You, sir, can we just exile you? Retire, commander. Wait. Trade unions, jingoist. So this is our rare admiral. Ooh. If we retire him, we will get a new leader, and he will be communist. Retire, commander. -2 approval. I mean, how old is he anyway? 43. Alright, let's retire him. He came for 5 years. Yep, there we go. Oh, come on. How do you... Oh, come on. Come on. Jingoist? Well, it's just not going our way, is it? This playthrough. Central America, Communist Costa Rica is the initiator. Hang on. Versus Costa Rica proper. They just want to annex each other, but it is Communist Costa Rica. Right, led by the armed forces versus the Costa Rica proper, which is trade unions. Council Republic. That's what we want. We want to be a Council Republic. Right, not communist. So let's go ahead and support our friends here. Why are we being embargoed with those guys? We have the bureaucracy to maintain it, so I'll just keep them for a little bit. Maybe Great Britain will change its mind. The embargo. Embargoing Spain. So an ongoing diplomatic action established by one country targeting another, which completely blocks the target country from importing or exporting goods in the market belonging to the country enforcing the embargo. Countries that are at war will automatically embargo each other. Now, the levies. Calixto Moncada has made overtures to the rural folk for electoral support to the Conservative Party. Manuel Morales has at least acknowledged the talks. Old minds think alike, or grants tends to grow as it pleases. Tips of momentum will be added to Conservative Party, political strength of aristocrats and farmers. Canada interest deactivated. Are we losing? We're losing prestige. That's why. Why did that get deactivated? We still have interest in Senegal and Niger. Why is that? To be honest, I'm not sure. Well, we did have some trade routes to those guys. France, Iberia. France, because we want to monitor whether we can take Haiti over. Gran Colombia, Central America. United States. Still a protectorate. Those obligations to the United States and defensive backing. Okay, Haiti is gone, basically. Now was a shame. That was a lesson learned. We should have fought for a protectorate. They would have probably just agreed. Instead, we a bit too arrogant. We are getting that population, but to be honest, right now, population really isn't a problem. So I'm kind of thinking, can we just quit the Spanish market and just be on our own? That is possible, but at the same time, other than migration, we are getting a lot of benefits from Spain. Right, they are, after all, they are a major power. Not a great power, but it is a major power. 35 million GDP. We're about a third of that. Yeah, so a third in comparison. Not of that, but in comparison. Yeah, we are doing okay everywhere. Lowest strata is still impoverished. Trade unions. Less spending. I don't like it. The whistle stop tour. Eugenio Cinceros intends to travel across Cuba by train to campaign for the Free Trade Party. Campaigning by rail is a smart move. 25% railway building throughput. The fate of the nation depends on that train running on time. 20% momentum will be added to the Free Trade Party. That. We don't want to help the industrialists because they're already pretty high. And we can afford to reduce throughput of transportation industry because it's cheap anyway. Now we do have 33,000 unemployed, so people just keep coming to our nation. We got nothing to kind of give them. Okay, there you go. We have telephones now. Election results in Cuba are in liberals 52, free trade 27, conservatives, communists. Okay. Communists, yeah, sadly need to get out of the government. That is a shame. And this will be, I mean, it is a righteous government. Yeah, what we really need, guys, right now, and then it comes back to this point which, yeah, hang on, yeah, which I made before. You see how hard it will be now to get universal suffrage, and what could really, like, this is really the difference. If we had universal suffrage now, we'd easily go to trade unions, but we do not, unfortunately. And there's no real way to get it. I think what's actually possible is we could get a movement from trade unions to go for universal suffrage. Right? Populist. Yeah, strongly endorse universal suffrage. So let's see. If they become more radical, I guess, yeah, two paths. We either become more radical, right? The trade unions become more radical and get a movement. Oh, unfortunately, they're decreasing clout, though. Dear me, but we just don't have the authority for it. Can we just bolster them anyway? Oh no, we can't even. I mean, we don't have the budget. Industrialist petition government. They're representing the constituents of the industrialists. Eugenio Cinceros has issued a formal petition to the Cuban government to pass private schools. We'll see what we can do. No, we're not going private schools. We only have 4.5 million left, so we kind of urgently need to build up our economy. And to be honest, maybe that is another reason to switch to better production methods, or gaining a public trade or something. We need more capitalists in our economy, baby. We need more. Maybe. In fact, not maybe. We certainly do need more capitalists. Let's do this, like just capitalists. Because we need that investment pool up. Without investment pool, we're bankrupt. Right? Simple as that. Electric industries, boom. It's absolutely booming. And rubber as well. What else is booming? Yeah, this is just... we need, that's good. That's kind of a surge in our industry. We have 130,000 workers. Like, we need to build. Absolutely. Okay, that's, yeah, I guess to be honest, this is probably the main reason we need to start switching to capitalists pretty much everywhere. Let's go ahead and get like dye workshops. That's it. Yeah, we can't Can't really afford to stay petite bourgeoisie anymore. That's fine. Let's just go industrialist then. Let's see if that also raises the standard of living. I think it will, to be honest. Won't it? What else? Paper mills, furniture manufactories, lathes, publicly traded. Because we need cash reserves. Yeah, so we need the cash reserves to be filled, and then they will start paying out more dividends, and then the reinvestment rate will go up. All right, luxury furniture is pretty cheap. Let's have a look. Maybe can we get this would like double the output of just normal furniture, and I think there's scope to do that. Let's go ahead and try it at least. Yeah, we have scope, so it will be cheap now, but that also helps our lower strata. Like, if they can just get the vote, so we can actually get them up in cloud, get them into power, we can then pass universal suffrage, even if others don't like it. And we do have 30 years of the game left. Again, I always think like 1907, the game is almost over. It makes me kind of nervous. But actually, we got plenty of time. Now, we could build more luxury, but we're already at 19% below base price. Let's go ahead and quickly check our trade. How's our trade routes doing? Okay, what are we doing? Okay, so this clothes here. Let's just remove everything that's unprofitable, frankly. And just go over and have a look. So munitions, British market. Even though they just embargoed us. Potentially not the best idea, but there we go. Cambodian uprising. Ecuadorian market. Yes. American market. Let's just open up these trade routes. See if they actually grow. Cambodian uprising. Yeah, not a fan of really giving it to the uprisings because simply may not exist for a very long time. Fabric. Venezuelan market. Yes. Chilean, Argentinian. Don't have that much bureaucracy to play around with, but here we go. French market, fine art. Yes, sure. American market. Sure. Fish. Wow. Peru Bolivian market needs lots of fish. So we suddenly have lots of bureaucracy. Ah, okay. See, petite bourgeoisie. Got middle managers. It's really going to help us right now. Ecuadorian market wants our fish. British market. I like the ones with Guatemalan. Everyone wants our fish. Peru Bolivian market wants our fruit. Furniture. There's a big one. Okay. 52 to Cambodian uprising. Now that Chile wants. Burmese market wants our furniture. Glass. We really should be looking at just quickly luxury furniture. Nope, nobody wants that. Glass to the French market, yes. Groceries. Wow, British market wants a ton of groceries. French market wants groceries. American market. I'm gonna open these up. I want to open these up. So we're on groceries. Let's just have a look. Maybe we close some other trade routes here. Trade routes. Yep. Fabric to France. That doesn't really work. I'm missing some bureaucracy. Oh, really want to get the central planning. 24 months. I guess I could live with 24 months. Freedom of thought completed. Okay. Those who seek to think boldly and freely are increasingly finding Cuba to be one of the safest places to explore their ideas. A utopia for the modernist artist. There's an arts academy throughput, or a place where research is unimpeded by tradition. Yeah, definitely. 20% throughput. Oh my god, are we missing? Oh my god, how did this happen? And we must have lost a bonus of one sort or another. Ooh, this is bad. Road maintenance. To the rescue. Will it help though? Not by a huge... much. I guess we do have this minus 25% throughput here. How long is that going to last? Stress rail network. That was only supposed to happen for like 2 years though. Okay, we are building more. Okay, we need more ports as well though. Although we will also get more. We need more ports both for infrastructure and for convoys. What we really need is industrial ports. Can we change our shipyards to reinforced wooden hulls? No, we need ironclads. Okay. Missing infrastructure. That's not good. We're missing 32. Okay, we're at 50 million GDP. That's surging. Lower strata is not benefiting from that at all, sadly. Electronics industries are super profitable, so we need more of those. The good thing is we have plenty of labor. Plenty of things to build. Let's have a look how our investment pool is doing. Minus 6,000 overall. So we need some more capitalists. Obviously, we're kind of scaling up the capitalists as we build more buildings, right? And they become more profitable. Food industries, ooh, 32. They're not profitable though. That's a little sad. Let's do more sweeteners. That actually makes them more profitable as well. Why is that? It's because you have groceries. Okay, let's try this. Okay, we're fine on everything. Okay, let's get this up there. Glassworks. That's another one that's still... Yeah, this will make them less profitable, not more. How about we get a bit of porcelain going, and then we go glass as well. Ooh, I feel like I just did something really silly. Did I? Lead from Russia and from Britain. Oh, we need bureaucracy. Dear me. We need infrastructure as well. So it was like glass works. Okay, now that's getting profitable. Give this a go. Yeah, we need lead. Is there no lead in this whole wide market? Let's go ahead and speed this up a little bit. We need bureaucracy. We need to rearrange our trade some more. Ooh, yeah, this is not great. Yeah, porcelain's kind of cheap, but we're producing less glass, but it's more expensive. Well, we need to hire more people as well. Let's see how that evolves. Keep an eye on it. We're producing more railways. More strain on our budget, but at least we need the infrastructure right now. Trade unions are at 8% now. Civilizing mission unlocked. It falls on our great nation's shoulders to shine the light of modernity into every uncivilized corner of the world, to educate and instill in the less developed peoples the divine values of our glorious culture. Okay. Vacuum cleaning is a method of sealing cans using a vacuum to keep the contents preserved for longer. Spanish-Brazilian rivalry ended. Oh dear me, we need two of these railways urgently, to be honest, for the extra infrastructure. Okay. Need more bureaucracy also, because we're wasting 5% of taxes. Dear me. And I do want to build this, but I actually... Okay, let's just wait. It's 11 months. It's not too long. We'll switch to central archives. Thing is, we won't really have enough telephones. That's the reality. We won't have enough telephones. So we kind of need telephones urgently. At least, yeah, we have 2 scheduled, so that's at least good. We need lead for them as well. We are gonna have a shortage of telephones though once we switch. But we've come up on the hour, guys, so let's maybe try to make it to January 1909, and then we stop, if I can do that in the next minute or so. Yeah, I mean, we are kind of socialist, right? I mean, there's a lot geared towards lower strata, but it's not quite really happening with the Council Republic. It's just, where are the communists in Germany? I guess because the North German Federation is formed, which, I mean, never happens, it seems like. Let's remove some of this. Save ourselves some bureaucracy. Which never happens. Because of that, these normal, northern German states have not gone communist. So there's never really been, oh, let's pause this, yeah, never really been a lot of communism in the world. It's pretty much the hotbed of communism is within Central America. But that's it for this episode, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Sorry it's coming out a bit late on the Saturday. I was completely swamped with work. But yeah, hopefully, yeah, I will post more regularly next week, although I can't promise that either. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope to see you in the next episode. Bye for now.